Destiny's next expansion, The Taken King, is going to make some major changes to the game. For one, the level cap is going to be moved to 40, and we're no longer going to be relying on exclusively light to level up, light armor, that is. And there are some other changes coming along. For instance, year one legendary weapons are going to be mostly obsolete. A lot of people are not happy about that, but maybe some changes could be good. A major change, though, is something that Destiny had been maligned about from the beginning. No, it's not the gameplay. No, it's not the story. Yes, it's Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage was the voice of the Ghost, the character that's with you along the whole way. He gives you a lot of exposition. He's kind of your buddy. But also, I mean, he gave a pretty uninspired performance. You may remember about the wizards that came from the moon. Lines like that. That did get cut. However, he will be completely redubbed with Nolan North. Nolan is, of course, a very well-known voice actor in video games. If the game doesn't have Nolan North or Troy Baker, I don't know what game you're playing. But it's interesting to see that he will be completely redubbed over from the very beginning, moving on forward. I don't know whose fault it is that the performance was so
lackluster.
Bad.
Lackluster.
Yeah.
You know what it could have used? More luster.
Thanks, Brett. Excellent.
Just saying, if I had to give one note to that lackluster.
Well, I mean, people, I'm sure Dinklage caught a lot of heat. Maybe he didn't want to come back and record it again. Maybe they were like, we need to take the focus off of the wizard that came from the moon and back onto the game itself. But then a lot of people have complained about the game itself. And is the game too expensive now because all these fixes you're giving us cost around $30 or more?
Boo.
Yeah.
So Dinklage, just not to care. You know, like if his lackluster performance,
he's a good actor, though.
But like I like a lot of his best performances are when he just doesn't care. So I think it isn't his acting. It's almost like he brought a character. His character from Game of Thrones was asked to do voiceover.
He didn't sound like Tyrion at all.
But if Tyrion was asked to do voiceover, he'd probably go like, really? With some terrible accent. Oh, you want me to do voiceover? I'll show you. And then he would do a terrible job. And he'd be like, fire me. Because I already signed an exclusive contract. Boom! Gold.
I think we have different opinions on the characterization of Tyrion Lannister. But
if he doesn't care about it, I think doesn't care about it.
Yeah, I mean, sure, they could have just given him a check and said, do it, and not given him any direction. I do think there was lack of direction, because it really sounds like he has no idea what the hell he's talking about
He's never heard of the game before.
Well, because it has its own lore and its own world and all these different terms that don't really make sense out of context.
This is pure speculation, but whoever was in the room with him was just like, oh, whatever you want to do. And that backfired.
Oh, so they were like maybe a huge fan.
Yeah,
and
just was too afraid.
Just like too taken aback by how cool they think he is?
Yeah.
Well, I think Nolan North will do a good job regardless of what happened with Peter Dinklage, because he has a very, very solid track record. Audience, what do you think about the redubbing of Tyrion Lannister, Peter Dinklage, in his role as the Ghost? And what do you think of the other changes coming along from Destiny in the new Taken King DLC? I mean, we saw some other changes in previous DLC. We looked at this at E3 and I was impressed by it. However, I did not realize all the price differences that were not told to me at the time, and that may be a heavy weighing factor. What do you think of it all? Let us know below in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe for more.